Sea of Galilee. With nature and society, humanity. I personally don't feel drawn to jet skis. And I'd love if they were silent, but they're obviously that's part of the fun, to make the noise. I remember as a teenager driving the tractor. It was important to make noise. But it was also nice to have tractors that were quiet. But they were quite expensive. The new ones, you know. They had a different sound. Our tastes change over the years. People get together and celebrate, socialize, spend time together, families, friends. And here we have this fruit-laden tree. Amazing, so much fruit. I wonder who could count them. And these are edible. I can even eat one for you to show you. This is the inside. It's a little sweet. There's a little store in the center. You know, I never touched that fruit before until last week. After we did maybe it was last Saturday, was it? Or Sunday morning, we did a shot down here about a kilometre south of here with the fisherman Simon and Garfunkel. No, the other guy was Ellie Wren. I remember that name. And then afterwards, I was walking along and this guy calls out, "Father Kelly, come here." Out there in the woods here in the south. And it was one of the farmers here that looks after the cows up here in Mount Arbel. You see all the cows up here right now. With their calves. And he's a Muslim. And he was sitting down beside another guy who was Yehezkel, who was an Israeli Jewish man, you know. So we had a chat together, this Irish Catholic priest and this Israeli Jewish guy and this Arab Muslim Israeli. And then I just commented that fruit, and Abu Faris said, "Oh yes, that's very good, that's tasty, you can eat that." So I was still not sure. I mean, I trusted his word and everything, but my level of surety just skyrocketed once he took one and ate it. And then it became easier to do. So it's interesting how we need the witness of others, the testimony of others. And at the same time, we need to have our own convictions. Our own convictions, we need to recognize the path each of us have. Each of us has our own path. We still have some of these thistles. There are not too many nice ones left. Or maybe there will be more blooming. This bush is the most bountiful flower at the moment. This part is a little older. There's a lot of it along here. It's thorny, sharp thorns. You can see those thorns, they're not nice. Let me get you some thorns there. Don't let your eye get too close. I don't want to put an eye in your thorn. An eye in your thorn, you thorn in your eye. Here's a bush without leaves. Here's this part of it. They're pretty ouchy thorns. Sharp. So we have interesting stories today. You know, I imagine if any of us were in prison, it would be a sad moment. But we're reading about Paul in prison, and he's using it as a great opportunity. Kind of impressive. And then Peter is inquiring about John, like, what's the story with John? And Jesus said to him, well, that's kind of none of your business. So we have solidarity with each other, and at the same time we have to respect the mystery of the other and their particular and unique vocation and calling in God's plan. So not everybody has the same vocation and the same calling, and we don't need to manage everybody's vocation and calling. We don't need to micromanage it. Wow, we gotta be. And my big wow scared her away, did it? Where'd she go? This is a flower we haven't focused on. And if I look closely, it's actually very, very tiny, lots of tiny little flowers. We had a busy bee there with the nectar, but the bee went away, and I don't know where. So right now, not in view. Up there, guys, you're getting a much better view than me because I'm holding the tripod, which is about 6 feet high, above my head with my hands up. So you have the view, not me. And now you're down to normal level again here with me. So that was about, you were seeing that from about 12 feet above the ground. So that's interesting, you know, each of us have a mystery. That mystery is hidden and rooted in God's love and God's personal love for each one of us and God's call to us. And we're all closely bound together and called to great solidarity, but also great respect for the mystery of each one. It's an interesting little moment, you know, when Peter is curious about John, at the very end of John's Gospel, you know, well, what about him? Because basically Jesus had said, Peter, you're going to be crucified. Oh boy, I just got those birds there, little ones, tiny ones, speeding by. Well, mind your own business, Jesus said. You follow me. That's what it's about. You follow me. There's a bird up there. I think it changed course when it saw me pointing the camera. I was shooting film, not a bullet. Oh, there was another big bird come out of here. And there's another one. Another thing that impressed me very much is, you know, if we were in prison now, you know, I don't know what our mood would be. But Paul is in prison in Rome. It's actually house arrest for the first couple of years. And a lot of people would get very depressed with that kind of situation, you know. Most of the world was in house arrest for some periods during the last 15 months. And Paul uses the occasion to evangelize. He has major restrictions, major lockdown, shut in. Oh wow, we got lots of bees here. And he's evangelizing. He is telling good news. Imagine you're in prison and you're telling good news. That's something else. The bees are staying a very short time at these flowers. They're moving very quickly. And this one kindly stayed here so you could see her wings. Look at her wings. They're so tender and they fly so quickly. They move around a lot here, so it's not easy to hold on to them. Well, goodbye, bee and bees. We let you be about your beesness. Okay, bee, I'm moving away. So there's another plant, we don't know the name of it now, all these little blue flowers that are in full bloom at the moment. So the yellow ones have competition for which has the most flowers. But so much depends on our attitude, doesn't it? To the circumstance of life. You know that famous line we had there for a long time, our little mantra, there's a grace in every circumstance. And this one is abundantly in blossom as well, small little one. And it has a unique periphery that's coloured. You can see there a little tinge of colour on the fringes and the tips of the... I'm not sure if I can get that better for you on the lens here, on the screen. Yeah, there you can see a little bit better. Marvellous, and they're very small. Oh, thank you, Bee, for coming in. Oops. Lots of them, huh? So the seminar we had in the last 3 days here for obviously mostly Israeli Jewish people was very blessed. It was Yiska Harani teaching about Christianity for Jewish folks so they could understand Christianity better. She's a wonderful Jewish lady and her husband, and they do a lot for mutual understanding. And that's a great gift in our world today. People who help to build bridges in a world of conflict. And that's the reality of our world. And people can grow stronger in conflict, can grow virtue in conflict, or can become hard of heart, closed to understanding others. It's difficult because if somebody hurts me, it's not easy to want to understand their position. It's difficult at every level within a family, between friends. It's hard when neighbors don't talk to each other. Imagine in the same floor of an apartment building and there's been a little falling out over something, and it might have started over a small thing and somebody might have said an impatient word, and the treatment is silence. Not greet the person, not recognize the person. Going down the stairs, going up the stairs in the elevator. It's very hard. Maybe it takes a moment of severe suffering and for one of the families for the ice to be broken, maybe a bereavement even. And then people will overcome that silence and say, oh, I'm sorry to hear the news. Sorry for your suffering. And then the silence is broken again. And people talk again, and then relationships can be healed a little, but the old memories stay. And then the memories are sometimes passed on generation to generation of great sufferings. I just think of, for example, the Holocaust and how generation to generation is passing on these memories. Think of people who are refugees through great injustice, of things they didn't do. And maybe their great-grandchildren are still refugees. and they didn't do anything, and maybe there's a transmission of feelings of great injustice done, of rights unfulfilled, and how to help people heal in these situations. It's so challenging, generation to generation. And even for us who are blessed to be Christians, you know, such amazing spiritual resources. The gift of the resurrection. Oh, I found a lady. She's going to fly. She just flew. She was perched there on her branch. She's still flying there. Look at that. There she goes. That was one of the lines in Moby Dick. There she blows. The whales were blowing, you know. There she goes. And she flies away. So the great task we have then with all the gifts we have, especially celebrating tomorrow, the Feast of Pentecost. Come, Holy Spirit, renew the face of the earth. It's a line from the Psalms. I don't remember the exact number right now. You can Google it and find if you need it. But this reality of being temples of the Holy Spirit, what a gift we have. Imagine if every one of us Christians lived this gift fully, let it blossom fully, and to bring this healing power of the love of God into the wounds of our times, in families, in neighborhoods, in apartment buildings. We have opportunities for raising great prayers at this time for the healing of humanity. If waves of grace can come in and wash the memory clean, heal the memories, even when the pain continues, that those pains become occasions for new growth, new expressions of forgiveness. For reconciliation, healing. Because when there's not deep reconciliation and a process of healing of wounds, then it's very difficult for long-term coexistence, friendships, collaboration, while deep injustices remain live in the memory and heart of people. Anytime there can be flaring up of new tensions and violence. Blessed are the peacemakers, those who build bridges, those who build understanding, those who spread good news even if they're in prison. And sometimes we're imprisoned by a cast because we broke a leg or an arm. We're in prison because our driving license expired and we need to get a new one, or our passport expired, or there are travel restrictions. And we can be spreading good news. So I think, people, this is a nice spot here to say thank you for joining us this morning. And God bless you today. There's Mount Arbel peeking up here behind my hat. It's a glorious morning. May you be blessed today as you prepare for the celebration of Pentecost. See you later, alligators. Thank you for joining. Come, Holy Spirit, renew the face of the earth.